May 10, Prince Diamond has just arrived at Tahiti. The port of Papeete is just behind us. Motu here. And it's about 7:30 in the morning. I'd been awake for about 10 minutes. Quickly got a shirt on, and we're getting ready to call port control and let them know that we're coming in. It's May 21st, a Saturday night in Papeete, Tahiti, and there's all kinds of stuff going on tonight here opposite the marina. The cruise boat, the Polynesia, is in, has been in for a day, and I believe they're just getting ready to leave because they're doing a lifeboat drill. And on shore, I think tonight is going to be the beginning of a bike race because the traffic has been stopped on Boulevard Pomara for a while, and there's lots of people kind of hanging around. So we're going to be having a little dinner out here, a little spaghetti from the Champion supermarket and some wine with our front row seats. Interestingly, right behind the Polynesia is one of the Aranui boats, Aranui 5. You can't see it, it's just in behind that boat. And the Aranui 5 boat is quite interesting. The front half of it is like a freighter. It has a crane and it carries containers and stuff like that. And the back half is more luxurious than this Polynesia. It's got like 6 decks or something with cantilevered decks overlooking the back, and there's a swimming pool, and yes, they take tourists around also on their little drop-off supply jaunts to the various islands and the Tuamotus and the Marquesas. Very interesting. Might be something to do one day. I could see that very much. Now we'll just wait for something to start happening. Party boats coming in for the night. Just having allowed its clients to see the sunset, I guess. Yeah, it usually has its lights going on there. It's disco lights going on. I guess it's not dark enough for that yet. And there's another one coming in the next section of the slips here. Well, it's interesting. I guess the only thing that happened tonight was a rather anemic parade. A few vehicles going by, widely spaced, and that was it because the traffic started back up again. But the billboard seems to indicate that tomorrow there's going to be a bike race here, so this is in preparation for that, I guess. So yeah, I'll see if I can get a little video of that for you tomorrow. No change with the Polynesia, and we're just still listening to Jimmy Buffett. Finished dinner. I had a little bit of wine from one bottle, and I'm into the next. So we're carrying on and doing the good job that I know you expected me. Yes. This stuff started this morning before dawn. banging started about 5 o'clock or so, and as they were completing their preparations here for that starting and finish area, I guess it is. And now the race is about to begin.
Notre appartenance au label Recycling. Voilà, merci Navana d'avoir bien voulu libérer les coureurs. On va juste quelques consignes de course. La course aujourd'hui est ouverte à la circulation, donc soyez prudents. Vous avez beaucoup de motards et de jalonneurs qui vont vous faciliter le départ, le passage. Mais soyez prudents, vous êtes dans une épreuve éco-cyclo, donc respectez le label. Et nous allons vous souhaiter évidemment à tous une excellente course, mais avant tout, avant de partir, on va proposer aux enfants de la flotte de pouvoir faire les premiers mètres avec leur idole Laurent Jalabert et Henri Sagnier, de manière à leur permettre de participer à cette grande fête cycliste. Et ensuite, 30 secondes après, on va vous inviter tous à partir pour un tour fictif du front de mer, neutralisé par les... 1, 2, 3, partez! Voilà, merci Tavana, et c'est parti pour les enfants de la fête que je vous demande d'applaudir très très fort. Ils sont aux côtés de Laurent Jalabert et d'Henri Sagnier pour les premiers mètres de cette ronde tahitienne 2016. Ils passent sous le autocollant I Love Tahiti, spécialement pour tous nos amis étrangers évidemment qui viennent, comme je l'ai dit, du Chili. Le Chili là, bravo le Chili! La Nouvelle-Zélande, est-ce que les Néo-Zélandais sont là? Good morning! Pour les gens des États-Unis, USA, welcome in Tahiti! Pour la Taratonie, Madame Taratonie, pour évidemment ceux qui viennent de partout de l'Hexagone, bravo à nos amis métropolitains! Ahi, Boudoua, Olu, Olema! Voilà, c'est parti pour cette Europe tahitienne, 1617 participants. Le record, le plus gros peloton cycliste jamais composé en Polynésie française, 517, vous êtes merci à tous et bonne course pour cette Europe tahitienne 2016. Je passe la parole au grand Didier Martinez.
Merci Benoît qui nous a régalé bien entendu avec ta culture de Tahiti. Quel visuel, regardez ce peloton multicolore qui prend le départ et aux avant-postes de la patrouille éco-cycliste. Respectez le code de la route, les signaleurs qui en place, il y a des quotas. respecter évidemment vraiment les messages de la croisière. Vous allez pédaler le petit train de la 2 heures dans ce site exceptionnel. Merci de le respecter. Bonne bouclée à notre collègue de l'association qui permet de participer à cette ronde des îles de mélange à Tahiti. Les motards de la gendarmerie nationale, c'est la force humaine. Merci à ces forces de gendarmerie d'être à nos côtés. À tout l'enfer de la sécurité sur les épreuves.
Look at what just came into the marina here. If this isn't the largest sailboat in the world, it's got to be pretty close. This is just magnificent. I may even have trouble guessing how long that would be. Today is the 24th of May, and I have come here to the trailhead of the walk up to the waterfall, up the Fautaua, I believe it is, river valley waterfall. I don't know the actual name of the waterfall itself. But this is a parking area here. Looking down the valley. And our walk begins. And there's a little gate here. And a sign saying 600 francs for access and the times for the place, for the access. Now we'll see if there's a place to pay. Well, this is the trailhead here. Looking back down the road. The first part of the track, as you can see, is quite civilized and no problem at all, although I believe it does get a little bit more difficult as time goes on. And we'll be climbing up something like 2,000 feet. It's really quite beautiful. As you can see, we're really down in a cleft-like valley, and that gets more dramatic as well. I was able to download off the internet a GPS track that other people have made on this hike, and then I was able to download a program for loading that track from my computer to my Garmin GPS. So I'm able to follow the exact route by GPS, which is very reassuring because I know there's absolutely no chance, while that's working well, to get lost. And I know where I am at all times too. Now, isn't that a magnificent stand of bamboo? The world's tallest grass. On the way up, there's a crew cutting down trees.
parti. Doucement écrit. Go.
They're fit. And just a little farther up the river, this is a looks to be a drinking water establishment. My French isn't good enough to tell whether or not they're diverting river water. Well, that's what I think is happening, diverting river water into some kind of a reservoir underground. Although don't quote me on that. It's hard to get the scale here, but this is really a magnificent valley. As we get further and further up the stream, the valley becomes more dramatic, more sheer. We're getting close to a place where the trail is supposed to split. One part of it stays on this side, and according to the GPS track, kind of goes up to a dead end where there may be a lookout or something. But the other part of the trail is supposed to cross the stream, I believe, and head on to a viewpoint for looking at the falls. And here's the juncture. And fortunately, there is a bridge there. Although that looks terribly wild on the other side. But we'll come back and do that in a minute. At this point, we're going to continue up this trail to just a little further to the head of it, where the GPS guy turned around. There's probably a lookout or something there. The legend of Mo'o. One day, a woman found an egg and brought it home in the grotto of the valley of the Fautaua. The egg gave birth to a gigantic lizard, a mo'o, very sweet key. Was adopted by the family. However, it was difficult to feed it, I think. The woman searched for food for 2 children, and the mo'o ate the children. Okay. On her return, the parents chased or hunted mo'o. I think the big bamboos that are nearby have something to do with the mo'o spitting out the feet of the children or something like that. Anyway, that's as good as my French gets. Well, at this point, almost to the end of that GPS track branch, There's a sign here that's showing that you have to cross the water, and there is a bit of a trail on the other side. It's, you know, it's getting kind of primitive, and there's a sign saying not to cross if it's going to rain. So I would say that this little branch that stayed on this side of the river was a bit of a disappointment. There's no kind of real lookout or place to observe from, or any kind of a payoff. The GPS track the other guy made only goes on across the river and just a short distance more, and then he turned around. So I'm assuming that there is not much left, and I'm not going to start taking my shoes off and everything, do that last little bit. So we're going to go back to the fork and take the other route, which does lead up to a view of the falls, and also takes us closer to an old French fort, which I would like to explore if I can locate it. Okay, back at the branching off. We're going to cross the bridge and continue on toward the falls, and also apparently they do mention the French fort too, so hopefully that'll be signposted or something. I've just come off the trail here, maybe about 20 meters, and come over to the edge of the hill here. And the reason I've done that is because this is the closest point of approach to that other trail that I was on, the trailhead, which is only about, maybe 300 horizontal feet away from us at this point. But it's probably more than 1,000 feet vertically below us. And yet, on the other side, you can see the cliffside. Cliffside continues up. Yeah, it's quite amazing. It's a very vertical landscape. We've been walking pretty well steadily uphill the entire time. Now time to get back on the track. Well, this could very well be it. I can't even see the lower half of it because of the vegetation. But they say that it's one of the higher waterfalls in the world. And the scenery around is just spectacular as well. Now the trail continues on, so we will continue. At this point in the hike, we're actually above the waterfall head, and the trail keeps going up. And here's this old stone wall here. I'm wondering if this has anything to do with the old French fort. I don't know. Take a look and see as we get closer if there's any kind of explanation as to its purpose. And it is a rather good defensive position here. We just went past a very narrow trail on the side of a cliff, something like you saw at on the end scenes of Last of the Mohicans. So this would be an easily defended area, this wall choking off the only passage through here. And the elevation is too high here for it to be any kind of part of a dam or anything like that. I mean, now this side goes down like crazy, so no, it's no kind of a dam or anything. But here's a little trail that goes up here beside it. Let's just see what this is all about. My guess is this must be part of the old fort, because nobody else would be up here constructing something like this. There's no other purpose for it. Like I say, the land I mean, the only other thing it looks like is part of a dam, but I mean, the land goes crashing down on all sides here, so it's a dam that could never work. The other sides of the structure are empty. Anyway, come out to the end of this, what I guess is a viewing area. Oh, and it carries on down there, but I'm not going down there. Just looking down the valley. It sounds like maybe it's heading down toward the head of the falls down there. I can barely see some water down there. But the trail doesn't go that way, and I'm not going to go that way. That's a bit much to expect. I don't have the name of this fort offhand, but it did mention it back on one of those signs early on. Just 100 feet further on up there, there's a remnants of an old wall. That's just about 30 feet up the hillside. And there's some more here beside the trail. On the way back, just around the location of that stone wall, I noticed for the first time here that there's a bit of a view of the waterfall there. Just a section of it. I think we're just slightly above the top of it right now. Well, on the 27th of May, I've come out here to do a walk and see Point Venus. I took the bus, as you saw, and down to the town of Marina, and then I got off when a bunch of school kids got off. It seemed to be a pretty busy intersection, and now I'm just walking up toward the water. We appear to be on a kind of a peninsula, so it's possible that this is the right road, but basically I just want to get a view of the water, and if this isn't Point Venus itself, I should be able to see it from wherever I happen to be. So anyway, this is quite a nice little suburban area, fairly middle-class homes and stuff like that. It kind of matches up with the Google Earth view of this area. So I didn't bring my GPS or anything. Perhaps I could have. Even the guidebook would have been handy. But anyway, we're coming up to some water here pretty soon. I can see there's a surf ahead. So and there's water off on our left-hand side too. So I think we might be in the right place. Yes, we found it. This was the right spot. There's the lighthouse that I could see the loom of in the sky at night as we were approaching Tahiti from the north. It's very bright light. You could see it for quite a long time. This monument coming up here is apparently a representation of the planet Venus and celebrates James Cook's attempt to measure the transit of Venus across the face of the sun, which he did very close to this spot. He actually built a little fort on the other side of the little river here, separating that outer beach to this inner beach, and it wasn't necessary because the Tahitians were very friendly. This monument was actually constructed in 1901 by somebody who was kind of upset that there had been no monument or anything to mark this spot. And over here is, if I'm not mistaken, a monument to the bounty mutineers. Yeah. And that's supposed to be Fletcher Christian and his Tahitian wife. That's a listing of the ship's company. This beach here is quite popular with both the tourists and locals. A monument to the arrival of some missionaries. The sand here is a very dark color, and so apparently it's pretty tough to walk on in sunny days. In the distance there, Moorea. And Tahiti, or Papeete. And during my long walk back to Papeete from Point Venus, I came across this viewpoint here, Tahara'a. And very beautiful outlook. And the boat is over there in the center of the picture, out of sight, but in that general direction. Where the harbor is in Papeete.